Support for MPB comes from the Get to
School
College
choice,
program
rural
of the Woodward
hospitals,
Hines
voter
Education.
access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts.
MPB, your stories, our mission.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're right. Carol, it's Mardi Gras season.
Hey, Mal.
All across the South.
I know it. I
And
went there
beyond.
this weekend.
Oh, yeah, did you now?
I went to Crew de Vue, which is my very favorite Mardi Gras parade.
Do tell, do tell.
Well, it's the old French Quarter parade. And you know, you're watching it, and, you know, I mean, it is a bit bawdy, but they use mules, to pull the floats through the French Quarter Street. So you can almost imagine that it's back in the 1800s.
And the flambeaux, did they use those? Or was it a
there
day
were a
parade?
few, but it was a night parade.
Okay.
But it was bitter cold, but it didn't stop me.
Didn't slow you down one
I
bit?
was with our good friend Donna Barksdale, and we looked like the abominable snowman, but snow women.
Snow women's. Well, 'tis the season, and we're going to talk a lot about the king cakes today and the King Cake Mafia, the King Cake Hub, makers of king cakes. You have brought in two fantastic examples of king cakes that are the toast of the town these days. Robert St. John's from Loblolly in Hattiesburg. We'll be talking to Robert shortly. And Brightson's, which I didn't know did a commercial king cake.
Well, it was in the craft section of King Cake Hub.
Tell our listeners about the hub.
King Cake Hub is a king cake warehouse, and it's like lined with metal shelves and king cakes from 30, 40.
Far and wide.
Yeah. I mean, if you want a Randazzo's,
Right.
if you want a Brennan's, like I brought a Brennan's Bananas Foster king cake to my husband.
How many different ones do you think were there? Like,
Probably 40 or 50.
I was gonna say close to
different,
50.
Different ones. And then there was a craft section, which were some like Frank Brightson's, people that Frank Brightson is a great chef, James Beard Award winner, and, been in New Orleans for years. Some that you wouldn't expect, like Frank Brightson's. So I snatched one off
good
the
idea.
shelf.
And I'm looking forward to snatching my share of it.
And then I brought you something
Oh, did
from
you
the King
now?
Cake Warehouse.
Oh, I'm so excited. That's great.
Okay.
Well, here we are,
This is for
Carol.
your door.
Oh, my goodness.
This is for your front
Front
door. This
door.
is a
It's a
for
door
those
hanger.
who can see it, it is a king cake door hanger.
Wow.
I really was struggling with it because it was a little out of my budget, but Donna reminded me that we've spent a lot more for a lot less. And that this needs to hang
Good
on.
old Donna.
It needs to hang on your door in Belhaven.
Oh, thank you. Carol, this is fantastic.
I know, Mel.
I've never seen a king cake.
I
door
had
hanger.
not either, but that's who I thought about when I saw it.
I'll let it hang there until. Hey, beautiful plumage on your head. You told me that's
Thank you. This is a fascinator.
a fascinator.
And I know I look so fascinating. I didn't think you'd
You
be
do.
able
It
to
actually
look at
matches
me.
your top.
Yeah, I got it at King Cake Warehouse.
Wow. At the where you got the king cakes?
Yeah, they had accessories.
Good man, what a trip. All right, great. Well, we've been in this afternoon slot now at 4 o'clock for, I don't know, over a month, but we really only had a couple of live shows. We've had all
Correct.
sorts of, we were off for MLK. We were off for the ice storm. We had a number of reasons we haven't been here, so we really haven't seen much of each other in the new afternoon slot. So
Yes.
it is good to see you. I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks, except I did bump into you at lunch. You and John were having lunch at Hallamow's the other day.
What a great
And
lunch.
Peyton Prosper, the three of you. That was great. That was nice. I wanted to tell you a little something that we made at my house this week. I roasted some acorn squash. You know, you cut it open, take the seeds and the pulp out of the middle, and you slice it into horseshoes.
Yeah.
And then I broiled it in the oven with olive oil, salt, and pepper, nothing else, at about 450. And then I turned it over and turned it up on wide open broil and sort of caramelized and browned the backside of it. And it was delicious as that. But then Kara and I came up with the idea that we would put it in the refrigerator and make soup. Well, we didn't have enough acorn squash to make what we consider a regular soup recipe. So we did a combination of acorn squash and pumpkin and made a delicious wintertime soup with cream.
Did you bring any?
I didn't bring any, except I'm bringing it to you by telling you about it.
Well, that sounds pretty fab.
Another cool thing, Carol went to Costco yesterday and came home with a Central Grocery muffaletta, a whole one.
You've got to be kidding me.
I did not know they stocked and sold the Central Grocery muffalettas.
I mean, is it a thing? Are they going to do it more than once? What do you think?
Neither of us have any idea. It was there. She bought it. She brought it home. I had it for dinner a couple of nights, and I just wanted to pass along to people who may be headed home from work right now and thinking, what am I going to do for dinner? And one suggestion might be stop into Costco, get yourself a muffaletta. It feeds, I guess, 6. It's huge. They're big old things.
You know, I can't not bring this up.
Go ahead.
I remember when you and Bruce Browning were canoeing the 400 miles of the Pearl River, and every day the WLBT helicopter would report on your progress.
Chopper Bob? No.
Coit. Yes.
Captain Coit.
They would fly to wherever you were to say, our intrepid travelers are, on this. Did he not drop some muffalettas on your boat?
He did. We were in Monticello, and we had stopped for a couple of days' rest. The people there were so nice.
You were living under a bridge, right?
Well, in Beaumont, we slept under a bridge. We slept in various places throughout this journey, this 40 days and 40 nights of paddling the Pearl from the Nanawaya Indian Mound to the Mississippi Sound. But on this one evening in Monticello, we were put up in a bed and breakfast. It was luxurious. We were given a pickup truck to drive during our duration there. And at the end of it, WLBT came and met us at the put-in where we put our boats back in and continued down the river. And Bruce had made a deal with Captain Coit that if the next time he came, he wouldn't go to New Orleans and grab us a muffaletta from Central Grocery. And he did, and he hovered over the Pearl, and we are in our canoes, and he dropped it into the water. We paddled over to it, and he had wrapped it very well. And we ate on that muffaletta for a week and ended up trading it for some catfish fillets to a fisherman family, and they thought it was pizza. We got the biggest kick out of that. Those kids said, "Ooh, this tastes like pizza."
Well, now it's easy. You can go get them at Costco.
Indeed. Well, at least for now. Okay, February 4, Carol, is Homemade Soup Day. And I was, of course, just talking about homemade soup. So I think we need to rename that Homemade Soup Day to National Hal Soup Day.
I like that.
For my brother.
Okay.
If it's okay with you.
Okay, well, I'm changing my script.
Yeah, change your script
Yep.
to National Hal Homemade Soup Day.
Yep, I like that, and I'm happy that we're together to celebrate National Tater Tot Day.
You know, I had tater tots at the walk-in Saturday night at Carol Mockby's birthday gathering. They have the most delicious and flavorful tater tots. One might laugh and say, oh, a tater tot is a tater tot is a tater tot.
Oh, no.
But have you ever had the ones at the walk-in at Hallamals?
I have to say I have not.
Excellent.
But
They sell them in a big old bucket.
Well, I'm heading down there. I had some fried in duck fat in New Orleans this weekend.
Ooh, yeah.
Little did I know we were so close to National Tater Tot Day.
If you'd known, you could have ordered a double helping.
Yes.
What else did you eat in the Crescent City, Carol?
Oh, my gosh, Malcolm. Eggs Benedict on collard greens with chicken boudin and eggs. This was at Willie Mae Scotch House, which we'll talk about
next week.
And then the other
go ahead and
fabulous thing.
Promo next week.
Yeah, I'm promoting it. I met a group of friends from all over the country who had 20 years ago, we had helped rebuild Willie Mae Scotch House and Dookie Chase after Katrina. Mm-hmm. So this was the 20th anniversary of that. And we met and we ate at Dookie Chase. We ate at Willie Mae Scotch House, which the original that we rebuilt burned down. But the fried chicken was just as good. And Malcolm, they had a yam old-fashioned, which is such a New Orleans thing, made with yam juice.
A cocktail old-fashioned.
A cocktail.
It wasn't a meal. It was a drink.
It was a drink, but I've got to bring it up.
Good gracious.
Yeah.
With yams.
Yeah. But anyway. Yam juice. But next week, I'm hoping to have a couple of the folks.
Y'all.
Yam. A couple of the folks that worked at Dookie Chase and Willie Mae Scotch House on the air to talk about then and now.
Well, all right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to invite our friend Chef Hunter Evans onto the show. Hunter's been on before. He is the owner of the Mayflower, Elvies, and various other and sundry enterprises. He's received a lot of recognition lately. He's been nominated once again for the
Best Chef Southeast.
Southeast, right. So Hunter comes on after the break. But before we go, on a sad note, I wanted to acknowledge the loss of a great friend of this show. Mark Wiggs passed away last week. Mark and Rebecca Wiggs have been great supporters, fans of this show. Callers sending us info, feedback, ideas, and Mark truly was a Renaissance man. And he will be missed so much, not only by us and our community, but by the entirety of Jackson and Mississippi and beyond. He did a lot of good things, including
he was a buckethead judge
once upon a time.
Yeah, the thing I'm so sorry that Mark died, but I love it that the day he died, he was at his usual place having lunch at Hal and Mal's at the bar.
Perhaps the most regular customer Hal and Mal's has ever had. Mark Wiggs, we love you, brother. We'll miss you, and we'll see you down the road.
Hatred destroys the one who hates. The others that you hated, go on about their business, care of us.
So the legacy of Medgar Evers is an understanding of our own humanity and of our own responsibility of seeing that in other people.
He is written out of history. He's just not included as Malcolm and Martin. To me, it's the 3 M's, and Medgar is right up there at the lead.
Everlasting, Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers. Watch now on MPB Passport. Visit mpbonline.org for more.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts.
MPB, your stories, our mission.
At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Nothing better than the Professor Long Hair at Mardi Gras time. Welcome back to Deep South Dining. Malcolm White, Carol Palmer, and man, oh Manischewitz, are we glad to have our guest here. Next guest, Hunter Evans, chef, a bon vivant, and a businessman who has received a lot of recognition lately, and we wanted to recognize you for all the goodness that's been going on. Welcome back to the show, Chef Hunter Evans.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, man. So you've been nominated once again as a semifinalist for Best Chef South.
It's strong.
By the James Beard Foundation.
Yes.
So did they just call you, just dial the restaurant and say, hi, you're nominated?
No, we actually find out like on their press release or social media.
Right.
I think it was kind of funny. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I received the plaque from being nominated the year before. So it takes a little while, but we got something to frame. So
you also received another plaque this week. You received your Michelin marker that goes on the exterior. I guess is it an interior or exterior thing?
I always thought it was interior, but it's got some weight to it, so I think it could withstand being on the outside. Which I think our staff was very excited and proud to be able to display it outside.
And talk a little bit about the impact or sort of the significance of being recognized first by the Michelin organization, a long-standing, reputable.
I don't know when they started, but I mean, I
think maybe
it's very
in the 30s. The Michelin Guide started.
Yep, and it's very old, and I think from my understanding, it's really just it was European for so long,
right?
And now they've made their ways around the South and across the U.S. But I really honestly never thought they would make it into the South or into Mississippi. To be something that you never thought you could attain or that would be awarded to a restaurant. It was pretty surreal for the whole staff to get the plaque and get nominated, and
so have you felt it in your business?
Great. Yes. Definitely. It's kind of hard because it happened in November, and December is usually pretty busy and hectic. Anyways, in the restaurant, January is kind of slow, but the amount of conversations I've had around Michelin and people just stopping me and, congratulating us and very excited to see that come to Mississippi. It was cool to see, it was people have seen it and heard about it.
Yeah. But before that, you had received the recognition of one of the top...
From the New York Times. We hadn't even mentioned that, Mayflower.
Yeah. Well, we're getting there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot.
Well, this is, Hunter, this is kind of interesting. Mal and I were having lunch at the Mayflower, and guess who walks up to our table but our old friend Brett Anderson, the New York Times restaurant reviewer and critic. He was with his family. He wasn't. He wasn't working. He had taken his kids to the Delta on a trip, and that's where he chose to bring his family. So I think think that's a really awesome thing.
Yeah, they had dinner at Doe's and lunch at the Mayflower.
Nice.
We're headed back.
That's pretty classic.
Yeah,
very classic. And we were able to book a show. And Marissa, we had him on 2 weeks ago. If for listeners who didn't catch that show, tell them.
Yeah, he was our first guest of the year, I believe, January 5th, I think.
So you can go and dig through our podcast, and it's a hour of Brett Anderson, and worth your time if you're interested in the world of food based in New Orleans, but really
I'll have to check that out.
A global view. So. How's the Mayflower doing? I was in a week and a half ago. It was packed at lunch. The food was terrific. Is everything going well?
Yeah, things are going well. Lunches are great. Lunches are fun. I feel like you kind of have the people that work in and close to downtown.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, you recognize a lot of people at lunch. The weekends are great. But I'm really excited about kind of the momentum behind downtown and some of the things that are happening. Thalia Mara,
the planetarium,
because really, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's a little harder to get more people downtown, with just less things going on. So yeah, really excited. The buildings that have been purchased and are planning, and people and offices moving back downtown.
Yeah.
So very hopeful for this year.
And we should shout out to Liz Brister, the new director, CEO of Downtown Jackson Partners. She's doing fine work.
Yeah,
and
the whole Jackson Rising effort. I mean, there are a lot of people from across the city involved in Jackson Rising.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see a lot of good things.
So we all know about Elvy's. Now, what is this, the 6th anniversary of Elvy's?
Yeah, our birthday was Saturday in 6 years.
Golly, seems like it opened last week.
You were on the show right after you opened, and it was like the first week of COVID.
Yeah,
I mean, we had booked the show, and it was just a very strange time.
I think it was 6 weeks after we opened. Right, I think right around March was when it kind of.
Yeah.
I guess when it trickled down here, and restaurants and businesses started closing and changing. Yeah, pretty wild.
One thing I was going to speak about was when I was in the Mayflower a couple of weeks ago, they were renovating your special events room. So you must be have some new stuff, new juice going on over there.
Yeah, another thing that we're excited about, and a way for us to be a part of outside of our corner of providing a space for businesses and law firms and people to. Yes. My kids are here.
Yeah, well, that's good. I've noticed them a couple of times. It's good to see them.
So we have a big private room, and we're adding a smaller private room. So you could have a 10 to 15 private lunch, and it would be a little more intimate.
Yeah, that's great.
It's like more of your own dining room rather than a whole large private room.
I think that's much needed.
What are your kids' names, Hunter?
We have Amelia is 5 and Ann Clay is 2.
Okay, cool. It's good to see them.
6 years, restaurant, pandemic, some kids, another restaurant. It's been a wild 6 years. And
also, I don't know exactly the details, but you're involved somehow in the wine bar at Banner Hall, right?
Yes, we have. So Brandy Carter was our opening beverage director, did all the wine for Elvy's, and then she just really kind of fell in love with wine and kind of saw a need in Mississippi and Jackson to, I guess, kind of usher the next generation of winemakers and the interesting stuff the way that industry is changing. And so a lot of her work was with the ABC and dealing with the ABC, which is kind of hard. And so that kind of led to her opening this shop, which is Levure, and that's kind of her passion project. So really amazing wines from all over, but they focus on kind of the natural wine world, which is becoming pretty trendy and sought after in our industry.
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
Well, it's good to hear from you too. We're so glad you're here.
Yeah.
So what's next? I mean, you've got a full plate. Tell us what in wide world of Hunter Evans is going on.
I mean, right now I think we're just trying to really build the restaurants and lean into all this momentum and try not to grow too fast.
Right.
But I think this year, we're really going to invest in our people and our management team and whatnot. And, I think the goal would be to continue to grow into and eventually like kind of a hospitality company that, because we kind of have different operations. And so looking to kind of make it run coherent, I guess. And,
gotcha.
That's great.
Yeah. And
hey, do you still do the grilled cheese? You still do the grilled cheese festival in the Belhaven?
Grilled cheese hasn't been. It's been a minute.
Okay.
But
people
bring it up
again.
I know. I want to.
We really want to judge.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to judge in the first one.
I know,
with,
and I
with
was
Wren
out of town.
and Wilder.
It was not fair.
Well, Wren and Wilder set in for you. It worked out all right.
Yeah.
But it was a nice event.
Yeah, it's a fun thing, and I love the neighborhood aspect thing, and hope it will come back.
All right, we're going to let you run and take care of those children. We are grateful for your time, and again, congratulations on all that is going on in your world, the James Beard nomination, the New York Times recognition,
Michelin.
the Michelin. It's all good, and we're really proud of you, and thanks so much. That sounds great, baby. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, we'll take a little break here, Carol. When we come back, we're really going to dive deep into King Cakes.
Let's do it.
You have been
I'm on a mission.
Working this angle for a few weeks here, so I'm excited to see how it all unfolds. So when we come back, we have multiple guests, and we'll leave it to that. We'll introduce them when you come back. It's going to be all about King Cakes. And it involves some King Cakes from Hattiesburg, some King Cakes from New Orleans, and people who, the King Cake Mafia. I'll just leave it at that. So short break, right back with our final piece of today's Deep South Dining here on MPB Think Radio.
Mississippi is a place.
Mississippi Public Broadcasting has podcasts
and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
The Measuring Show.
Since 1970, MPB has been enriching the lives of Mississippians.
Everything we do gives us the chance to grow and learn.
With your support, we are always there whenever and wherever you need us. Together through the years, together in the future. please consider making a donation at mpbfoundation.org. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Welcome back to Deep South Dining here on MPB Think Radio. Malcolm White with Carol Palmer and her fascinator.
It's just fascinating, isn't it?
So nice. So nice. Now, you've been working on this angle with these king cakes for a couple of weeks. So tell us what we got.
Well, first of all, I want you about my fascinator that we just got an email from somebody from Seattle about my fascinator. So
We did. Can you read it for us, Marissa? We got this email.
Absolutely.
We need to share.
It says, is Carol wearing a fascinator? It's so beautiful and makes her look like an absolute babe.
Malcolm would not agree with you. But I have been on this king cake thing because my personal king of king cakes is Robert St. John.
Yeah, you're right.
And at Loblolly Bakery in Hattiesburg. And I've, been following Robert's king cake story. And because of Robert introduced us to the King Cake Mafia. So I want to start the story with Robert. Talk to us about that king cake business down in Hattiesburg and all around.
Hey guys, how are y'all? It's good to be here.
We're good.
Malcolm, Carol, thanks for having me on. And the king cakes have been something that we at Loblolly, even before we opened, we were cooking them out of Midtowner, and we could get to about 30 a day. And we would take them up to Crescent City Grill, and there'd be a line out of the restaurant, and they would sell in like 5 minutes. So we knew there was a demand. The next year, which was 3 years ago, we could get up to about, 50 a day. We had tweaked the recipe a little bit. And then last year, we got really, really close with the recipe. I felt really good. What I did, I heard you talking about the King Cake Hub.
Yep.
I heard you talking about the King Cake Hub earlier. And I went down there and I bought 32 king cakes. And my mission was to prove that Dong Fong was not, the best king cake available in New Orleans. And I took them all back. I ate some of all of them. And sure enough, in my opinion, Dong Fong was the gold standard. And so we used that really as a point to work backwards from. It's like, all right, this is the gold standard. This is what we've got to do. And we did that last year. And then I see Don and Patrick on here, and I just met them. I think it was last week I was down there, or 2 weeks ago. And I had followed the King Cake Mafia, but I didn't, I'd never met them. But I was in Chicago with my wife, Jill, and we were visiting our son, Harrison, and we were in an Uber on our way to a restaurant. And I got a text from somebody at the restaurant say, hey, King Cake Mafia, reviewed Loblolly King Cake. And my initial thought was, because, I've had a Creole restaurant in Hattiesburg for 38 years. And a lot of times what you hear from folks in Louisiana is, they're already skeptical before they even walk into a Mississippi restaurant. It's like, these guys don't know Louisiana food. So I was a little nervous. And then when I watched the review, and they had given us such a great review that we were all jumping up and down in the Uber and everybody was fired up. And then they came back and we made some tweaks this year over last year. And somebody, either Patrick or Don will be able to tell you who came in, but somebody came in and grabbed a blueberry like the second or third day. I think it was Don maybe that gave us like an 11 out of 10. And everybody, we were having a manager meeting at the time, and we were so fired up, but I didn't know them. And I got to tell this story. I know it's a long way around because last week they offered it. And Patrick has these great. He's got a restaurant and 3 bars in downtown Slidell. It's great. I had never seen there. I had never met those two guys. I was a little nervous because I was like, man, maybe I should stay arm's length from these guys. People are going to think there's home cooking going on or something like that. But they wanted to host a pop-up for us. And I called on the way down. I said, man, this is Slidell. Nobody's going to really know us down here. You know, I'm going down. Blah. I pulled up 45 minutes early. There was a line of 100 people there. I was so fired up. Then I got to meet these two guys in the King Cake Mafia who I followed, and they are just the real deal. They're totally committed during King Cake season to go all over the place. And we had a great time that Friday. We're going back down there. I need to check the date while we're visiting. So that is we're making about 600 a day now, Carol. I know you and I spoke in the bakery about a week ago or so. And we've got two crews running. We've got a crew in the bakery and we've got a crew at the Midtowner because we're not open at night. So we're running two crews, and we're really happy with the response we've gotten, and I will give credit where credit's due, and that's to the teams working, but also thanks to these two guys at the King Cake Mafia who have like the best job in the world. They go around eating king cakes,
well, we'll hear
but
some
they
stuff,
appreciate
Robert.
ours.
Robert, before, and I hope you'll hang with us, but the fact that you are freezing Hattiesburg blueberries in the summer to put in the king cakes speaks to me.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
That's strong.
Now let's meet the Mafia, Carol.
Hey, Don. Hey, Patrick.
Hello.
Thank you guys for coming on. I've been chasing Patrick. He was at deer camp when we first started trying to make this happen. So I hope you got something. Hope it was a good time.
Well, it was a good time, but we were definitely no deer to be found that weekend that I was up there. So that's okay. That's okay.
Okay, tell us how this got started. How did the King Cake Mafia get started?
All right, so this is where it begins. About Mardi Gras 2024 was the height of the pizza raiding scenario with Dave Portnoy and all that. And it was January, and we found ourselves in. Josh and I are best friends for 10 years now, and we found ourselves in a lot of places where a lot of king cakes were showing up all the time, and we're like, it wasn't even something we planned on. It just, we would taste the king cake and we would just start giving it our own review, not on camera, not anything like that. And it just turned into this conversation. Oh, next year we're going to do it. Next year we're going to do it. But we forgot about it, right? And January 6th came of 2025, and I called him, and I was like, bro, I'm going to get me a Dong Fong right now. He goes, oh, let's start it. And his schedule couldn't align with mine. So I think the first 2 or 3 reviews I did by myself just to get it started. And then we just started on a roll. Now, last Mardi Gras season was a long one. It was 57 days, and which is great for those bakeries out there. You keep cranking out printing that money in the back. But it's, now this year we're kind of sad. We're in a 43 days of Mardi Gras this year. So our commitment was to 1 king cake per day for the entire Mardi Gras season. And for the 2 years that we've been filming, it'll on Fat Tuesday this year, it'll mark 100 different king cakes and bakeries that we've tried. Well, plus there's always bonus
reviews.
Yeah, bonus reviews. Like somebody brings something, a home baker, hey, try them on, this kind of that.
Yeah. Personal king cakes, on the side.
Yeah.
Okay,
so that's kind of where it
Josh,
went.
both you use aliases as the Mafia. So Josh, your alias is?
It's Don Couteau. So, I think this is part of the story and the lore of King Cake Mafia, right? So as Patrick had mentioned, like, I would be in the bar at Brass Monkey. He would go out and buy like 30 king cakes. You could pay like $1 a piece. And so like, I'd just be in the background. He'd be busy. And like, I would take a bite and I'd be like, bro, this is a 7-1. And so like, we kept kind of doing stuff like that. And then all of a sudden it just became this like, Don Baby, when are we going to get some more king cakes? And so I started calling him Don Baby. And then as he had mentioned, like we got into that season 1, January 6th. And, I was like, okay, he's got this cool nickname now. And I was like, what name am I going to come up with? Right. And so I'm thinking, I'm like, well, the 2 things that go with king cake, right? You got the baby's always in the cake. Right. And then the knife, it always stays in the box. And so I was just kind of thinking to myself, I was like, wonder what knife is in French. And so it was couteau. And I was like, man, Don Couteau, it rolls off the tongue. So I was like, I think I texted him. I was like, Don, baby, I have my name. It's Don Couteau. I said, let's get it going. And so that's really how it started, honestly. So, I got to play into the lore of it now.
Yeah.
So
then I think early in the year, I think we found Loblolly early.
Yeah.
Like within the first 20 or so days. And it was just by happenstance. I mean, we had, 1,500 followers or something at about that time. And somebody just threw it in the comments and said, you got to go try Loblolly in Hattiesburg. Well, at that point, we didn't even think King Cakes existed above I-10. We didn't know that. And so because we were all over, like people are asking us all the time, go review, such and such bakery in Laplace or whatever. And, we did all those. We've done them all down here. And what we're out doing this year is trying to find the other ones. But we found Loblolly early on, and I think we bought two. I think we got plain one, and then we bought the blueberry cream cheese. But everybody was raving over blueberry cream cheese. So I said, man, we're going to get this, and we're going to bring it down. I said, we're eating it today no matter what. We're not waiting till tomorrow to film this one. And we brought it down, and we started filming, and we were just blown away how good this thing was. And then we also made a vow that we broke, that we weren't going to double review any King Cakes. And here we are. We did Loblolly again because one of our friends was sweeping through Hattiesburg and said, yo, I'm going through Hattiesburg. You want me to get a Loblolly? I said, yeah, let's get that thing.
Yep.
And then we that night we tore it up. Yeah.
How about that, Robert? Are you gratified to be a double winner?
Yeah, you have no idea. And I wish you need to have these two guys in person too, because their energy and their passion, not only for King Cakes, but just for Louisiana and for food and everything, they're awesome. And to touch on the blueberry thing, that Malcolm, you kind of touched base on that. So what we did, my beef with a lot of the fruit-filled King Cakes over the years is really they're just using jelly donut filling that comes out of a number 10 can. It's that gelatinous, sugary stuff. And so when we did ours, Tim Goggins, who has a place called Sandy Run Farms here, massive blueberry farm, blackberry too. And so what we do is during the height of blueberry season in the summer, we get him to put several tons away for us, and they freeze them, and then we're just kind of pulling from those. And that way, it's real blueberries in there. It's not any kind of blueberry filling. It's cream cheese, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of cinnamon. And the one thing I think some people, it's a good and bad. Some people love that this happened, some people that don't, but it's what you deal with when you're dealing with whole blueberries is they'll seep a little bit out. You can't put too many in there or you get too much juice, but the bottom gets a little soggy. And a lot of people like
juice.
That.
I like all that juice.
Yeah. See?
Okay, that was Patrick.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it soaks up some real blueberry juice, and I think you get a little bonus there.
Yeah. Okay, Don Couteau, what do you think about the blueberry situation?
Yeah, honestly, I think that's one of my favorite parts about that King Cake. And I think, Robert, you hit the nail on the head there in the sense of I can't stand that gelatinous filling. And if you watch our reviews, I'm typically lower on those ratings than Patrick is. And then more traditional King Cakes, I'm a bit higher. But man, those blueberries, that reaction in that original video, that was the first time I had heard that y'all are picking blueberries, you're freezing them and then putting them in your King Cakes. And when Patrick told me that, I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting then. And then we bit into that thing. And like I told you, when I saw you on the street, I was like, I didn't know about your King Cakes and Loblolly and who Robert St. John is and this kind of conglomerate of restaurants. I was like, all I knew is that King Cake was good. And it was a 10 out of 10 in my mind. That was my true, honest reaction to biting into that King Cake that day.
Well, I got to tell you, I've watched that video probably 30 times. We really celebrated that, and Josh, both these guys, their enthusiasm for what they do is pretty cool. We got Ponchatoula Strawberry coming here.
There we
go. Okay,
shout out.
That's gonna be a shout out. Okay, Patrick. So, what are you thinking about this year? What have you run into that's different?
Well, last year, we hit all.
We want to hear the top five.
Last year we hit all the big boys, and one thing we tried to do is not do like grocery stores and last year anyway, but we've run into that this year because you got to realize we're starting to run out of new king cakes to try. So the grocery stores are not on the hit list for us right now. But so far this year, my highest score was Blah Blahly, of course, this year. Second would be Manny Randazzo. Third would probably be a place called Southerns that I really liked. Kaluda's was another one that we really liked.
Where is Southerns?
Southerns is in Metairie. It's
Metairie,
like
okay.
Yeah, they were a little barbecue truck that just did Hogs for the Cause for a long time, and now they got a brick and mortar, and now they started doing king cakes, and theirs is more of a beignet style king cake, super light and airy. It was really good. It was really good, but I do want Josh to tell this quick story about this girl that she's a little home baker. She found out we were going to be in Hattiesburg, and go ahead, Josh. You take it.
So that is we're talking about the Chantilly king cake.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So out of Ellisville, I believe it is. So I'm not exactly sure of the region there with Hattiesburg and Ellisville, but yeah, I mean, she reached out to us. Luckily Patrick's able to kind of get all around and get these king cakes, but we were able to get it. And man, this thing was just beautiful, and it was a king cake in itself, but it had the Chantilly topping. So really kind of, true to the region, like a Chantilly cake down here is something that a lot of people enjoy. And if you've never had that, you need to get in on that. But yeah, I mean, this was good. And then found her on Facebook. She didn't necessarily have a TikTok, but just kind of commented back and forth with her. And she was like, the response has been unbelievable. Like, it's been off the charts. I'm like, this is cool. That's what it's really about, right? Like us being able to help these bakeries out and us getting able to try them, right?
Sure.
We're talking about some of these different bakeries that we're trying to get to this year. So Patrick had mentioned Southerns. I mean, that one like just came on the scene. I think they've only been doing king cakes for like 2 or 3 weeks now. And again, it's a beignet king cake, so it's something different. But I think outside of that, a couple of others that come to mind for me are Tournesol Bakery in Covington.
Oh yeah, Tournesol,
which is a big croissant. It was really good. There's another one called Lucy Lee's out of Covington. It's kind of like a coffee cake-ish, but it's really, really good. And then kind of off the wall, right? We're talking about just going everywhere and getting different king cakes. There was one out of Alabama. It was called Sugar Rush. It was a donut king cake. So like there's kind of all these different regions that we're able to get and, that we're able to touch and really just kind of say, hey, a lot more people are making king cakes than just Louisiana. And that's really what we're kind of trying to spread as well,
So let's talk about Alabama. I want our listeners to, be able to track some of these. So what's the name of the place in Alabama and what town?
So that one was Sugar Rush.
Well, everywhere that we went to in Alabama is Mobile. So we went to Sugar Rush, and then we went to Be Sweet Cakes, I think it was called, but they didn't even have any available, so we couldn't pick one up. Sugar Rush was the only thing we came home with that was a true king cake from over there. But I have a friend that's leaving Birmingham tonight. He's on his way down here, and he's grabbing something from Savages Savages and one other one that he's bringing down for us to review. And so we're going to check those out. But I am also taking a trip to West Louisiana tomorrow morning to grab as many and all that I can because we got to get back because Saturday morning we have our next pop-up with Robert and his crew.
Yep.
So very excited, very excited. The public's very excited. It's Mardi Gras weekend in Slidell that weekend. So we can't wait for those blueberry cream cheese king cakes to get down here.
So you're chasing king cakes until when?
Mardi Gras Day is the last
Tuesday. Okay,
Tuesday.
I got you.
Yeah, well.
Robert, were you familiar with the Chantilly Ellisville king cake? Because that's part of your world.
No,
you were not. Okay.
I watched that review, and it was beautiful. I'm familiar with Chantilly cakes. We do a version of that as our straight cake at the bakery, but I hadn't seen the king cake, and it looked great. And I don't think I know her, but I'd love to meet her.
Need to get to know her. Hey, guys, tell us where our listeners can find you. If they want to follow, get involved with the Mafia. How does that work?
All right, so the handle on our TikTok page, really, we're really mainly on TikTok. Facebook actually, if we did it on Facebook, we do have a Facebook account, but it was almost too close to home. You know what I mean? Like we didn't want everybody in our, it was just weird. So TikTok is almost a step away, and it keeps it, but it's still funny because people come out and recognize us and stuff. It's funny. But so the TikTok page is 985 King Cake Mafia. And then if somebody wanted to email us that's how we're getting a lot of these home bakeries is emailing us, is 985 kingcakemafia@gmail.com.
Right.
What is the significance of 985?
That's our area code here in Slidell.
Gotcha.
Where we live. Yeah.
And Robert, not that anybody that listens to our show doesn't know, but how do people find you, particularly focused on the King Cakes situation?
Yeah, so nsrg.com has all the New South Restaurant Group restaurants, but loblollybakery.com specifically for king cakes. And while I've got it, anybody going to Slidell, I think, Patrick, you call it Old Town.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know, I've been going to New Orleans all my life, and I'm usually just heading down 59 or whatever. And when I zipped through to go to the pop-up last week, and I'll be there Saturday, there's a cool section of Slidell that I had no idea. And Patrick I learned when I went down to meet him, had a big hand in revitalizing that area. It's a very cool part of town. Some really cool old buildings. Those guys are doing good stuff for Slidell.
Patrick, tell us, give us the name of your restaurants and bars so when we're on our way down, we can come and find you.
Sure, it's a humbling thing for me to do that. I'm definitely not the guy that ever that loves to do that stuff, but I'm gonna do it.
Well, Don Couteau told me I could ask you. Yeah, Don Couteau said
I'll make him do it.
All right. So we have a pizza company down here, Old Town Pizza Company. That's our restaurant that we do have, and it's something that I've dreamed of my whole life, owning a pizza joint, and so we were able to do it. We did it, and then I own I have a whiskey and cigar bar right next door to that, really high end whiskey and cigar bar called Whiskey and Ash. And then right next door to that, I have a little place called Luna. It's a very upscale tequila bar. And then across the street from all of those three is the Brass Monkey, and that's kind of where everything started.
A local watering hole.
Yeah. We want to thank you all for joining us today. Robert, great to see you. Don, Patrick, thanks so much. This is good stuff, and we're going to keep talking about it and following you right up to Mardi Gras Day. So thanks a million for joining us. Deep South Dining is a production of Mississippi Public Broadcasting's Think Radio, and we are funded by generous contributions from folks like yourself. Our show was produced by Marissa Vaughn. For our guests, Hunter Evans, Robert St. John, the King Cake Mafia, my co-host, Carol Palmer. I am Malcolm White saying please stay tuned for At Issue up next. And join us next Monday at 4 for more Deep South Dining and every Sunday at 9 a.m. for Encore.